You got the raise. You finally earned more than you ever have. And 6 months later, you still feel broke. You still check your bank account before every purchase. You still say no to things you want to do. You still feel like one unexpected bill could destroy everything. Nothing changed. And that's the part that scares you. Because you did everything right. You worked harder. You earned more. So why does it feel like it's never enough? That feeling has a name. And today we are going to talk about it. Welcome to VaultMind. Today we break down part 2 of our Wealth series, the Scarcity Loop. In part 1, we talked about where your money beliefs came from. You absorbed them before you ever earned a dollar. But here's what nobody tells you next. Those beliefs don't just sit there quietly, they create a loop. The scarcity loop is a psychological cycle. Feeling like you don't have enough causes you to make decisions from fear. Those fear based decisions create worse outcomes, and those worse outcomes reinforce the original belief that there was never enough to begin with. It feeds itself, that's why it's a loop. Scarcity belief leads to financial anxiety, leads to avoidance behavior, leads to poor decisions, leads to more scarcity, which leads back to the scarcity belief over and over without end unless you see it. Think about the last time you got paid. Did you feel relief or did you immediately start calculating how fast it would disappear? That calculation, that automatic mental math the moment money arrives, that's the loop running. It's not a mindset problem. It's not a discipline problem. It's a pattern. And patterns can be broken. But first, you need to understand why it exists. Your brain wasn't built for the modern world, it was built for survival. Thousands of years ago, scarcity meant danger. If food was scarce, your entire focus had to narrow to one thing: finding food. Everything else became irrelevant. That instinct is still running today, except now, instead of food, it's money. Your brain treats financial scarcity exactly the same way it treated physical danger, with total tunnel vision. Researchers at Harvard discovered something that changes how you see this. Living under chronic financial stress can temporarily reduce your ability to think clearly, to the same degree as losing a full night of sleep. Let that sink in. You are not thinking slowly because you are lazy. You are thinking slowly because your brain is exhausted from constantly scanning for financial threats. And here's what makes it worse. A 2025 study on scarcity and cognitive control found that when your brain is in survival mode, it specifically weakens your ability to plan ahead. You can react to problems, but you struggle to prevent them. You're always putting out fires, never building anything. Researchers call this the bandwidth tax. When you live under constant financial pressure, your mental bandwidth gets consumed by survival. What's left for planning, learning, and decision making? Almost nothing. Think about it this way: you know what you should do with money: save more, spend less, invest early. You've heard it 1,000 times. But knowing what to do and being able to actually do it are two completely different things. When your brain is running on survival mode, the gap between knowing and doing feels impossible to close. That's not failure, that's the bandwidth tax. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you opened your banking account without feeling something? Not just looked at the number, but felt something before you even saw it. That moment of dread, that brief pause before you tap. Nearly 4 in 10 young people feel anxious about money every single week. Not occasionally, every week. And more than half lose sleep over money at least once a month. You've been there. 3 a.m., running the same numbers in your head over and over, trying to make the math work. The loop doesn't just affect your bank account, it affects your entire life. Have you ever said no to something? Not because you didn't want to go, but because you couldn't afford to show up. Made an excuse, said you were tired, when really you just couldn't make it work financially. Almost half of young people have done exactly this: skipped events, missed moments, pulled away from people. Not because they didn't care, because the loop made every social situation feel like a financial threat. Whether you are making six figures or choosing between rent and food, the psychological trap is identical. And some people go even further. 22% of young renters skip meals to make rent. 22%. Maybe you've been there, standing in a kitchen, deciding between eating today and having a place to sleep tonight. That's what the scarcity loop does. You're not lazy, you're not irresponsible, you're just trapped in a loop. So, why can't you just decide to stop? Why can't you just budget better, save more, stress less? Because you're not fighting a lack of information, you're fighting something much deeper. After years of living inside the scarcity loop, you stop seeing it as something that's happening to you. It starts to feel like who you are. You tell yourself, I'm just bad with money. I'll never get ahead. This is how my life works. And breaking the loop starts to feel like losing yourself, like you're giving up something that's kept you safe. There's also something happening in your body that makes this even harder. Every time you think about money, your body releases cortisol, your stress hormone, the same hormone your body produces when it senses physical danger, which means your nervous system is treating your bank account like a threat to your survival. Every bill, every purchase, every financial decision, your body responds like you are in danger. That's not weakness, that's not anxiety, that's your survival system doing exactly what it was designed to do. But it's doing it in the wrong context. Here's how the cycle reinforces itself step by step. You believe there will never be enough, so every financial decision comes from fear. That fear creates constant low level anxiety. Your brain never stops scanning for threats. The anxiety becomes so overwhelming that you start avoiding money entirely. You stop checking your account, you stop opening the bill, you stop planning. Avoidance leads to worse outcomes, missed payments, impulse purchases to relieve the stress, and those worse outcomes confirm the original belief. See, there really never was enough. The loop closes and begins again. You can't think your way out of this because the loop isn't a thought, it's a pattern wired into your nervous system. And the first step to breaking a pattern is seeing it clearly. So here's what I want you to sit with. If your brain is wired to protect you and that protection is keeping you stuck, how do you tell your survival brain that you are safe now, that there's enough, that you can build something more? That's what part 3 is about. Pause and sit with that question for a moment. But before we get there, there's something you need to do first. This week, I don't want you to fix anything. I don't want you to budget. I don't want you to save more. I don't want you to change a single thing. I just want you to notice. Pay attention to when the loop shows up. Notice the moment you feel anxious about money. Notice when you avoid checking your account. Notice when your first thought is, there's never enough. Start with something simple. The next time you open your banking app, pause before you look at the number. Notice what you feel in your chest, in your stomach, before you even see the balance. That feeling is the loop starting. Write it down, just one sentence, when you felt what you felt. Don't judge it. Don't try to fix it. Just see it. Because the loop only has power when you can't see it. The moment you start to see it clearly, everything begins to shift. That awareness is where the rewiring starts. This is VaultMind. We expose illusions and teach real thinking about money and psychology. Part 3 is where we break the loop. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll see you there.